There's a lie we've all been sold. That freedom means doing whatever you want. Sleeping in, skipping hard work, following every impulse. No rules, no pressure, no restraint. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But here's the truth. That kind of freedom is just another cage. A different kind of prison. One that feels good at first, but leaves you empty. Because when you follow every impulse, you end up a slave to them. You become owned by your cravings, by your moods, by your comfort zone. You think you're free, but really you're stuck. Let me show you how. You hit snooze 5 times. Now your day starts in a panic. You skip the gym again. Now your body feels heavy. You avoid hard conversations. Now your relationships grow cold. Each choice felt free. But those choices built a life you don't love. A life full of avoidance, regret, and anxiety. And here's the paradox. True freedom doesn't feel good in the beginning. Feels like effort. Feels like friction. Feels like choosing the harder path. But over time, it builds something unshakable. Because self-discipline isn't about restriction. It's about creation. It's about building the life you actually want, not the one you fall into by accident. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "Discipline bridges dreams and reality." That means your goals, they don't just happen. They're not waiting for motivation. They're waiting for structure, consistency, commitment. Think about an artist. You imagine them flowing with inspiration. But real artists know, discipline is what allows creativity to thrive. It's showing up even when they don't feel like it. It's creating space for the muse to arrive. Think about athletes. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on habits, on systems, on pushing through resistance day after day. Now think about your own life. Where are you confusing freedom with avoidance? Where are you letting comfort steal your potential? Let me tell you about Amir. In his 20s, he believed in freedom. He quit jobs when they got too hard. He chased fun over focus. He said yes to everything: parties, travel, distractions. And for a while it worked. He felt alive. He felt free. But then came the crash. He had no savings, no deep relationships, no sense of direction. He was exhausted, not from working too hard, but from drifting. He realized he had built nothing, because building requires discipline, and discipline felt like death, until it became his salvation. Amir started small. He woke up at the same time every day. He made his bed. He wrote for 30 minutes. He exercised 3 times a week. Simple, boring, but life-changing. Because structure gave him energy. Routines gave him clarity. Boundaries gave him confidence. And over time, he stopped chasing freedom. He became free. Not because he did whatever he wanted, but because he trained himself to do what mattered, especially when he didn't feel like it. That's the truth people don't want to hear. Discipline is hard, but the alternative is worse. So if you feel lost, look at your habits. Look at what you avoid. Look at the version of yourself you're creating with every easy decision. Because ease now often means struggle later. And effort now. That's where real peace begins. Everyone wants freedom. We want to wake up when we want, do what we love, go where we feel, live without rules. But here's the paradox. Freedom without structure isn't freedom. It's chaos. It's confusion. It's a prison with invisible walls. You think you're free, but you're lost. You have no direction, no anchor, no rhythm. You feel stuck, but you don't know why. Let me tell you the truth. What most people call freedom is just avoidance in disguise. Avoiding effort, avoiding discomfort, Avoiding responsibility. You say you want to write that book, start that business, change your life, but you don't show up for it. Not every day. Not when it's hard. Not when it's boring. You scroll. You wait. You say, tomorrow? But freedom without discipline is just potential wasted. Nietzsche said, discipline bridges dreams and reality. Without discipline, your dreams rot. They stay in your head. They haunt you quietly, because a dream unlived becomes a burden. Real freedom is not what you think. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's having the strength to do what matters, even when you don't want to. Real freedom is choosing long-term meaning over short-term pleasure. Real freedom is saying no when distractions beg for yes. Real freedom is doing what's right, even when it's not easy. Without discipline, your freedom becomes your master. You think you're in control, but you're ruled by impulse, by craving, by doubt, by laziness. You sleep too late. You eat what numbs you. You spend what you don't have. You talk big dreams, but you don't build the habits. You don't keep the promises. You don't live the truth. That's not freedom. That's slavery, just with softer chains. The lie of motivation. You say you need motivation. You wait for a spark, for the mood, for inspiration. But discipline is not about waiting. It's about moving. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you committed to. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. It shows up before you're ready. It keeps going after you're tired. And slowly, you become stronger than your moods. That's power. That's self-respect. A story, Malik's turning point. Malik wanted to be a musician. He dreamed of stages, crowds, freedom. But he never finished songs. Never stuck to practice. Always too busy. Always not in the mood. He blamed time. Blamed money. Blamed his day job. But one night he saw a video. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. That line hit him hard. He looked at his guitar, untouched for months. That night he practiced for 10 minutes. Next night, 15. Then 30. Not perfect, but consistent. No matter how tired. No matter how uninspired. 1 year later, Malik recorded his first album. Not because he felt ready, but because he showed up. He learned this. Discipline didn't cage his creativity. It protected it, made it real. Building your own discipline. Start small, but start daily. You don't need a full plan. You need a decision. What matters to you? Choose one thing. Just one. Now show up for it. Every day. No excuses. Miss a day? Return the next. Discipline isn't perfection. It's devotion. Create a rhythm, a ritual, a routine. Make your life a container for the energy you want to grow, because structure doesn't limit you. It holds you. Just like a river needs banks to flow, you need discipline to move with power. What you gain when you stay committed, you build trust with yourself. You start to believe your own words. You stop breaking promises. You stop betraying your own dreams. You wake up with direction. You move with purpose. You speak with clarity. You don't need to prove anything, because your actions already speak. You don't need to rush, because you're already moving. You stop needing permission. You stop seeking validation, because deep down, you know, I show up. I do the work. I keep going. That knowing is rare. That knowing is power. Freedom without discipline is a lie. Don't be seduced by the easy path. Don't be fooled by temporary comfort. The world will tell you, follow your passion. Do what feels good. But passion without discipline burns out. Dreams without action fade. Freedom without direction kills potential. If you want to feel truly free, build discipline like a muscle. It will hurt. It will stretch you. It will challenge every excuse you have. But it will give you your life back. And in that structure, you'll finally feel free. You think discipline limits you. But the truth is, discipline frees you. It frees you from your impulses, from your distractions, from your self-sabotage. Discipline gives you structure, and in that structure you find flow. Without discipline, every decision is a battle. Should I scroll or sleep? Start or delay? Quit or push? You burn energy making choices. You exhaust yourself deciding. You drift through your day, chasing convenience. But with discipline, there's no debate. You act. You move. You show up, and that is freedom. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from guilt. Freedom from regret. Discipline makes you the driver. Without it, your emotions drive. Your cravings steer. Your fears take the wheel. But when you choose discipline, you choose leadership. You decide what matters. You create your path. You become the one in control. Discipline means doing what's right, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. And with every act of follow-through, you grow stronger, wiser, freer. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a repeatable rhythm. You need to stay on course when your mind wants to run. Confidence comes from consistency. You want self-trust? Then keep your word. Not to others, to yourself. You said you'd journal today. Did you? You said you'd walk 15 minutes. Did you? Every time you keep a small promise, you grow your confidence, your belief, your power. Not from results, but from integrity. You start to trust your effort. You start to believe your voice. You no longer seek approval because you've already earned your own. This is how confidence works. It doesn't shout. It doesn't perform. It simply shows up. Discipline builds vision. People talk about goals, but few have vision. Fewer build toward it daily. Discipline connects now to later. This moment to the bigger picture. Today's effort to tomorrow's outcome. Without discipline, you chase quick highs. You pivot every week. You build nothing real. But with discipline, you begin to craft a life. Layer by layer. Brick by brick. You're not just reacting. You're designing. You're building something that lasts. Success isn't found in sudden moments. It's in steady practice. In daily focus. In quiet commitment. That's how dreams become real. That's how visions turn into truth. Real life story, Jordan's freedom through routine. Let me tell you about Jordan. He used to call himself a creative soul. He hated structure. Loved freedom. He started 3 businesses. Quit them all. Why? Because he worked in bursts. All passion, no process. He avoided boredom, avoided routine. But over time he noticed something. He felt scattered, unproductive, exhausted. One day a mentor said, "You don't lack talent, you lack rhythm." That sentence stuck. So Jordan made a decision. He chose structure. He made a morning routine. Woke up at 6. Wrote down 3 priorities. No phone before breakfast. 1 deep work session every morning. It felt boring at first, but he stayed with it. Day by day his mind calmed. His output grew. His clarity sharpened. Within a year, he launched his 4th business. But this time he stuck with it. Built a team. Served clients. Generated real freedom. Not because he followed passion, but because he followed discipline. He now takes Fridays off, travels monthly, spends more time with his kids. Ironically, the thing he used to resist, structure, gave him what he always wanted: time, energy, freedom. From discipline to freedom, the path. Discipline is not the opposite of freedom. It's the path to it. Want freedom from anxiety? Discipline your thoughts. Want freedom from regret? Discipline your choices. Want freedom to create? Discipline your time. Freedom is earned, not given, and you earn it by showing up when it's hard, by saying yes to what matters, by saying no to what doesn't. This is how you build a life that feels good, not just in the moment, but in the long run. It's not sexy, it's not easy, but it's real. And real freedom always begins with discipline. A reminder for you: the world will tempt you with ease, shortcuts, escapes. But don't be fooled. The freedom you seek lives on the other side of effort, of consistency, of honest work. If you keep breaking your own word, start again, today. If your life feels chaotic, simplify. Choose a rhythm. If you don't know where to start with what hurts. Because discipline doesn't just build success, it builds self. And the more you honor your discipline, the more your life begins to reflect the kind of person you always knew you could become. Discipline sounds big, overwhelming, like something only high achievers have. But the truth is, discipline begins small, very small. You don't wake up with perfect focus. You build it, brick by brick, choice by choice. Start small, the power of micro-commitments. Don't aim for radical transformation. Aim for consistency. One tiny act, every day. That's where the habit grows. That's where trust builds. 5 push-ups, 10 minutes of reading, 1 page of journaling. It may feel too small to matter, but the goal isn't results at first. The goal is showing up. When you keep a tiny promise, your brain learns something powerful. I am someone who follows through. And once you believe that, you can scale anything. Start with 1 anchor, 1 habit. Same time, same place. Don't skip. Don't negotiate. Just show up. This is how momentum starts. Track your progress, stay accountable. Discipline thrives in visibility. So make it visual. Use a habit tracker. Check the box. Watch the chain grow. It doesn't matter if it's analog or digital. What matters is the feedback loop. Because when you see progress, you reinforce effort. You reinforce identity. Also share it, not with everyone. Just one person. A friend. A coach. A journal. Say, this is what I'm building. Then check in. Accountability doesn't mean shame. It means support. It means having someone to remind you, you are capable. Keep going. When you feel seen in your effort, you push through resistance. That's how discipline sticks. Face the 3 enemies: procrastination, self-doubt, burnout. 1. Procrastination. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's fear in disguise. Fear of doing it wrong. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of discomfort. So you delay. You scroll. You clean. You prepare. But preparation without action is still avoidance. So how do you beat it? Start before you're ready. Set a 2-minute timer. Tell yourself, I'll just begin. Once you start, the resistance softens. Motion creates motivation, not the other way around. 2. Self-doubt. Self-doubt whispers, you're not disciplined enough. You'll quit anyway. Why try? It wants proof before permission. But confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You build belief by doing the thing. while doubting yourself. Show up scared. Show up unsure. Just show up. That is courage. That is discipline. 3. Burnout. Discipline isn't about pushing non-stop. It's about knowing your limits. Too much intensity without rest burns you out. Then discipline becomes punishment. And that's when people quit. So build in recovery. Work for 50 minutes, rest for 10. Have one screen-free hour daily. One guilt-free day weekly. This is not weakness. This is sustainability. Because true discipline is not a sprint. It's a rhythm. Balance discipline with self-compassion. This might be the most important piece. Discipline without kindness becomes cruelty. It becomes inner pressure, self-judgment, burnout masked as grit. You don't need to hustle through pain. You need to listen to your signals. Did you miss a day? Don't spiral. You're not a failure. You're human. What got in the way? What do I need to feel supported? How can I return gently? This isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about staying in the game long term. The goal is not perfection. The goal is return. Always come back. The more compassion you show yourself, the longer you'll stay consistent. Kindness makes discipline sustainable. It makes it soft enough to hold and strong enough to build your future. A daily ritual blueprint. If you need a place to start, here's a simple daily ritual. Morning check-in, 5 minutes. Ask, what matters most today? Write down 1 to 3 priorities. Focused work block, 30 to 60 minutes. One task. No distractions. Deep focus. Evening reflection, 5 minutes. Ask, did I show up for myself today? No shame, just awareness. Gratitude or breath, 2 minutes. End the day with grounding. Not more input. This isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it with intention. Let this be your base. Then build from there. Remember why you started. There will be days you don't feel like it. Days when discipline feels heavy. That's normal. But in those moments, come back to your why. Why did you want this? Why does it matter? Remember, discipline is not a chore. It's a gift. It's not punishment. It's power. It's the choice to become the version of you you've always known you could be. So start small. Be consistent. Be kind. And every time you show up, you're not just building a habit. You're building your future. Discipline starts as a habit, but over time, it becomes identity. At first, it's about showing up, doing the thing, keeping the promise. But if you stay with it long enough, it changes how you see yourself. Not just, I do disciplined things, but I am a disciplined person. And that shift, that's when everything changes. Discipline shapes identity. We become what we repeat, not what we think, not what we wish. You can say, I want to be confident. I want to be strong. I want to be successful. But unless your daily actions match, it stays a dream, a fantasy. Discipline is how dreams become traits. Each day you show up, you're voting for a new identity. Each time you resist distraction, you're telling your nervous system, I'm in control now. Not the cravings, not the fears, not the old stories. You're building a new self, one decision at a time, from reaction to intention. Before discipline, life happens to you. You react, you respond, you drift. With discipline, you begin to direct. You make conscious choices. You delay the impulse. You remember your why. You shift from short-term comfort to long-term meaning, from avoidance to purpose, from I should to I choose. This is where power begins. Rooting discipline in your values. Discipline without purpose is fragile. It burns out. It becomes performance or punishment. But when your discipline is rooted in values, it becomes sustainable. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Not just to be productive, but what value am I living through this action? Maybe it's growth. Maybe it's integrity. Maybe it's self-respect. When you connect your habits to your heart, they stop being chores. They start being expressions of who you are. That's when it sticks. Discipline becomes a declaration. This is what I stand for. This is the kind of life I'm choosing. This is the kind of person I'm becoming. The paradox of freedom. Here's the truth no one tells you. Discipline is not the opposite of freedom. It's the path to it. Most people think freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But that's not freedom. That's slavery to impulse. Real freedom is the ability to choose what serves you, even when it's hard. To say no to distraction. To say yes to your future. To live in alignment with your values. Discipline doesn't trap you. It frees you. It frees you from chaos, from inconsistency, from regret. It gives you space, structure, clarity. And in that clarity, you move with purpose. You speak with power. You act with confidence. That's freedom. The quiet joy of self-trust. Discipline also gives you something subtle, something priceless. Self-trust. Not the loud kind, not the flashy kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that says, I know I can rely on me. You don't need motivation. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. Because you've built the inner muscle. You've shown up for yourself, even when it was hard. That's what confidence is made of. That's what resilience is built on. Discipline teaches you this. If I say I'll do it, I will. And that changes everything. Real life, Lena's journey. Let me tell you about Lena. She used to chase freedom. Late nights, fast decisions, no schedule, no rules. She thought structure would kill her creativity. She feared routine would make her boring. But it left her scattered, anxious, stuck. She couldn't finish anything. She didn't trust herself. She blamed her lack of discipline like it was a flaw. Until one day she tried something new. She committed to just 30 minutes of structure each morning. Wake up, move her body, plan her day. No drama, no perfection, just presence. Week after week she noticed something. Her anxiety dropped. Her focus grew. Her creativity returned. She was finishing her art. She was following through. She felt free. Not because she avoided structure, but because she owned it. Discipline didn't steal her spark. It gave her power. Her identity shifted. She no longer said, I'm the type who can't stick to things. She said, I'm the kind of person who follows through. That's transformation. Celebrate the process, not just the results. So many people quit because they don't see fast results. They think if change isn't immediate, it's not working. But the real win isn't visible right away. It's internal. The win is waking up and keeping your word. It's choosing what matters over what's easy. It's returning to your path when you fall. Progress is not a straight line. It's a spiral. You'll fall off. You'll mess up. You'll want to quit. But that's part of the process. The key is, don't shame the setbacks. Celebrate the returns. Every time you come back to discipline, you're telling your mind, this is who I am now. And one day you'll look back, not just at the habits you've built, but at the self you've become. And you'll realize, this was never just about being more productive. This was about being more you. You won't feel ready. You won't always feel motivated. You'll doubt yourself. you'll fail. But none of that disqualifies you. All it means is you're human and you're growing. So start where you are. Begin small. Stay with it. Not for the perfect routine, but for the deeper reason, to become who you're meant to be. Discipline isn't punishment. It's devotion to your growth, to your values, to your freedom. So give yourself that gift and keep going.